All right, so episode 6 of the Chucky show. This episode is called Cape Queer, which I think is actually a really funny episode name, and it ties into the episode as well. But episode 6, it starts out with Tiffany narrating, like previously on Chucky, blah blah blah. But like it shows her backstory, which you didn't see in this series, and I really do appreciate the fact that with this new TV series, they really are speeding up people who have not watched the Chucky movies, or some of them. Like they tell the backstory for every character. If they're introduced, they did that with Nika in the last episode, and this one they did with Tiffany, showing her taking over the soul of Jennifer Tilly from Seed of Chucky, and also it shows Kyle and her backstory with Andy as well in Child's Play 2. So I really love the fact that this show does a great job, especially if you haven't seen the other movies. Um, it does a really good job of quickly setting up what these characters are, and I really appreciate that. Even though I love the movies and I feel like people should watch the movies before this still does a good job of being easy to digest if you haven't watched those Chucky movies or if you haven't watched them in a long time. So I really appreciated that. Um, and I like a lot that it started out with Andy and Kyle as these pretending to be agents, and they are going house to house where they know Chucky is, or a Chucky doll is. And there's this family, this mom and dad, and this little girl who they meet, and this little girl has a doll named Charlie, of course. And Chucky even says, "Hi, my name's Charlie." Like he even does the second of hesitation whenever, like in Child's Play 2, whenever he says that when his name is Tommy in Child's Play 2, like he does the same thing here, which I thought was pretty funny touch, because I think that was hilarious in the fact that Chucky knows he's fucked. Like this Chucky doll is gonna get killed. And I love the fact that from the back view that Chucky always does whenever he's being held by somebody, he's behind the little girl, has the knife, and then Chucky and or Andy and Kyle completely just decimate this Chucky doll. They literally, in this little girl's arms, just literally shoot this Chucky doll to death, and it has blood spurting everywhere, and it is awesome because I love the fact that Andy and Kyle have done this for so long, I guess. Um, with finding out about Chucky and figuring out that he has transferred his soul into different dolls and a person with Nika. But I really like that. I like the fact that we get to see Kyle again because we haven't seen her since Child's Play 2, really. We did see her in the end credits of Cult of Chucky, and I'm kind of barely counting that, but it's only like 30 seconds that she's in that. But I loved Kyle in Child's Play 2. I thought she was a really cool character. I really liked the fact that they brought her back. I like that her and Andy have this relationship still. And I love seeing that there's a quick, brief backstory in which Kyle has been married or is married. And there's these quick moments of like showing how these characters have evolved throughout these decades of Chucky going and doing all this stuff while they live their lives. So I thought that was really awesome. Um, I like that Kyle asks Andy, "Why did you leave Chucky alive?" In Cult of Chucky with the headless, or with the decapitated Chucky head that was alive that he was burning. Like she asked, "Why did he leave that alive?" And he said, "It's something that the military teaches you, like keep your enemy alive," which I thought was interesting. And it's interesting to connect back to Child's Play 3, which they, of course, didn't use footage from that one because uh, Andy was not played by Alex Vincent in that. He was played by Justin Whalen. That's the only movie that Andy was not played by Alex Vincent. So I did like how they connect that still. And they did that in Curse of Chucky 2 in the end credits where you see Andy. It showed the military diploma as well. So it's like Child's Play 3 still connects, but like they don't show footage because, of course, it's not the same actor. But I like the fact that they connect that. I really, again, love the fact, and I can't stress this enough, I love the fact that this franchise has still stayed in continuity since the first movie. It's not like Halloween where like you get 5 different timelines, or it's not like Texas Chainsaw Massacre where like every other movie feels like it's disconnected and it contradicts the other movies. Like it's not like those. This series and franchise just still connects very, very well, and I really love that. Even the movies that people dislike, I love that even Seed of Chucky and Child's Play 3 are really connected. Those are the two that I notice are usually considered the worst. Um, but I really like that they, no matter what people think of these films, they keep this continuity intact. And I think that's really, really a great effort. Because no matter what you think of these movies, they should be connected, and that's what pisses me off about the Halloween movies, even though I love them. It just pisses me off that they're not all connected. Like it's just really dumb in that regard. But but yeah, I liked how it really had the Andy and Kyle story at the beginning. I thought that was a great way to set up these characters in the show, even though Andy was in the first episode on a phone call. And they connect that in this episode as well. I thought it was funny how they talk about how Chucky split his soul, and the only thing I could think of, because again, I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, you can see that right there. Um, I thought of Horcruxes, of course, because Voldemort split his soul into 7 pieces. And it just reminded me so much of that. Like, it just sounded like a Horcrux, and that's fine. But I just think that they got inspiration from something like that, because it felt very similar in that regard, where Andy and Kyle have to go and hunt down the other Chuckies that are inhabiting dolls. So I thought that was hilarious. That was pretty interesting. I liked the flashback where you get young Chucky and Tiffany, and they are buying the red car that Tiffany has in Cult of Chucky and in this. That's really cool. And I like the fact that you get to see young Chucky and Tiffany again. And I didn't get to say this in the last episode because I watched the last episode and I initially just reviewed it really quickly. But then news broke out the day later, I think, after I reviewed it, that Fiona Dourif played young Charles Lee Ray, and Brad Dourif just did the voice. And that was so freaking cool. The fact that his daughter is doing the performance, but they just put a little prosthetics on her face for her to have facial hair and stuff. And then she's back in this as Fiona Dourif's back in this as young Charles Lee Ray. Well, and then you get a young Tiffany who looks, this actress looked a lot like her, like Jennifer Tilly. I was genuinely surprised that this actress looks a lot like her, and I like the fact that with both of these characters when they're younger, they're using the voice actors, of course, of Brad Dourif and Jennifer Tilly, but they look the part. Both of these actors do. Fiona Dourif and whatever that girl's name is that played young Tiffany. But I really thought that was really fantastic that Fiona Dourif does the performance of her dad as a young person. Like, I thought that was really cool. So I like that. I like how Nika is still breaking, like in the present time, Nika is still breaking out of that control that Chucky has over her soul or over her body, where like Nika slowly is coming out of this body where like this is her own body, but Chucky inhabits it and takes over. His soul does. So now Nika is slowly getting out of it, and I love the fact that Tiffany realizes this, and Tiffany says like, I know that you, whenever I look at you, I know that it's you and not Chucky. And I like the fact that she says, I like these moments alone if you want to keep it a secret. Like, I thought that was actually really cool. But then Tiffany immediately bashes Nika on the head just to knock her out to have Chucky take over again. But, or no, actually not to have Chucky take over again. She just bashes her to get her to move to the house. But I liked that a lot. That's the moments between Tiffany and Nika. And I think that Tiffany is still a crazy killer, but I like the fact that you saw a little bit of humanity with her, where she's like, I like these moments without Chucky here. Like, I thought that was pretty cool. And I like how it's weird because I'm going to another scene where there's the teacher, that Jake, Devin, and Lexi's teacher, and Junior's teacher, the redhead. I forgot what her name is in the show, but she was an awesome character. She gets framed for the murders in this, and I was surprised because I just didn't piece it together that she could be the one framed for the murders, because of she's been connected to it in a way where she didn't really murder. Of course, Chucky did it, but like, it's funny to see that connectivity that she is framed for. It seems like it makes sense. I really liked the scenes between Bree, Lexa Doig, Jr., and her whenever she tells her husband, not bearded Devin Sawa, and she tells Junior that she has cancer and she's she's not gonna get through it. Like the way that they talk to her about it, she is not gonna make it through this cancer. And that was a really great scene of acting between all three of them. Like really great family dynamic there, and it was really sad and heartbreaking to watch. And then Bree goes to the therapist or the doctor about talking about how she told her family, and she's happy about it that she told them, that she wants to appreciate life for what it is. And then what do you know? She walks out the window, or she walks out of the room on this like 20-story building, and of course Chucky throws a cart from that floor and rams her into the wall, and then she flies at it rams her into the glass window, and she flies at the glass window, and it looks like a suicide, of course. So it's really, really shitty because it pisses me off so much because Chucky is such a bastard, and like the fact that it makes it look like she killed herself when she truly didn't. She truly wanted to live life until the end, until that cancer took her. But Chucky, of course, had other means of what he wanted to do, and he killed her, which pissed me off, but in a good way. Like, because you really hate Chucky as this killer, and you really love the fact that these characters had such great development. I like the fact that Devin and his mom have the talk where Devin hasn't told his mom about liking Jake, and I like the fact that, like most people would do in these situations, she just said, like, that nothing changes between us. I still love you the same way. You're my son. Like, I'm not gonna not love you at all the same way because you're still my kid. I love you, and I really like that scene, and I like that Devin was watching Cape Fear, which makes sense with the title, Cape Queer, because he was watching Cape Fear, and he uses that with Jake and Lexi to set traps in the house. Because they know Chucky's coming for him, because Jake and Devin have the phone call with Andy and Kyle saying that Chucky will come and get you or get your family. He'll get you some way, so you better be prepared. And I really thought that was great. And Andy and Kyle are hitting that way, but they don't, of course, come to New Jersey in the end of this episode, but they are on their way. So they're probably going to be there in the next episode. But I really like that all three of them, Lexi, Jake, and Devin, make plans to trap Chucky, and they do this thing where, like, they've got like this doll, like, of course, inanimate doll, but they have it like on a table, and like all the strings are connected to everything in the house, the windows, the doors. So if anything happens, if anything opens up, it'll move, and they'll know that Chucky's in there. And of course, Chucky comes in there. He goes to Lexi after he shuts the power off. He tries to convince Lexi to kill Jake, which is the exact same thing Chucky said to Jake, you should kill Lexi. So Chucky is trying to get Lexi now, but I love the fact that Jake is right behind Chucky while he's having this whole conversation. And then Chucky runs at Jake, but then Devin shocks Chucky with this big taser, and Chucky flies like onto the wall, and it was hilarious. But then we get a really great ending to this episode, and it really was sad because I really liked this character, and man, it killed off two good characters I really liked in this episode. It killed off Bree, and then it killed off Devin's mom, because of course Devin's mom appears in the house whenever Chucky is chasing them, and then of course Chucky bites her, and she falls down the stairs and cracks her neck and dies. And it was such a sad moment because I really liked the mom character. She was sweet, she was endearing, and she just had the talk with Devin. And I just think that it really is sad that, again, Chucky is at his peak of just being the absolute worst character, like worst killer, and he's killing all these people that you really care for. And I really love the fact that this series does that. We really do care about these characters, and when Chucky kills them off, it makes me want to have the main characters kill Chucky more. And I really hope that something happens at the end of this series. I don't think Chucky will die. I don't know if he'll ever die, but like I hope that they make some progress because of all the shit that Chucky's done to these kids. But that ending was great, with losing Devin's mom. It was so sad, but it was feeling so good in the fact that you want these kids to kill Chucky. You want them to murder him because of what he's done. But I like this ending a lot. Like I said with the last episode, it was my least favorite, and that doesn't mean I disliked it. Definitely not. I really still liked the last episode, but I felt like the ending to that was kind of like obvious because it's like, oh, of course Chucky transferred him to that Tommy doll. But in this ending, I thought this ending was a way better ending than episode five's ending. But I still liked episode five overall. But I felt like this was a way more rewarding ending because you really are building up the fact that these kids just want to murder Chucky and get rid of him. And it's just, and at least you've got Andy and Kyle coming after him now. And then maybe you have Nika maybe being able to help, but Nika's trapped by Tiffany right now. So I wonder what they're going to do with like how they're going to lead into this. I really love how they're building these characters and writing them together. Like it's really, really good. Like I said, I'm loving this series so much. And we got 2 more episodes to go. So I can't wait. Just 2 more Tuesdays and then it's over. But I will be talking about the episodes whenever they come out. So I'm excited. What did you guys think of this episode of Chucky, Cape Queer? Tell me down below, and I'll see you guys later. Take care.